friends, loyal listeners, and bears everywhere. Welcome to this episode of The Sound Barrier, the official podcast of Northeast State Community College. My name's Tom Wilson. I'm in the Department of Community Relations here at Northeast State, and we are overjoyed in this episode to welcome Professor Elizabeth M. Sloan, Director of the Northeast State Department of Theater. Elizabeth, welcome to The Sound Barrier.
I'm so excited to be here.
Great. We're thrilled to have you here.
Thanks.
First of all, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself, your professional background, and how you came to arrive here at Northeast State.
Okay, I'll try to do the short version. So I'm a Tennessee girl. I found my way after getting my MFA in theater and acting at the University of Louisville. I started working at the Bearier Theater, so right down the road. I was there for almost 5 years. Then I moved to Chicago. It was very cold, and I loved it a lot. I realized I really wanted a paycheck, so I started working for a healthcare marketing firm, and I got promotion after promotion, and I'm not saying that to brag about myself. I'm saying that to brag about theater people, because what they valued was everything I'd learned doing theater, because I could barely email at the time, let me tell you. But it wasn't like my dream job or anything, and as much as I really sometimes still miss that paycheck because it was lovely, I started looking for being a professor for college jobs, which I knew was always the dream job. And I had met a Chicago fella, and he was really looking forward to leaving the cold. And so my predecessor here at the theater department, Mike Alec, you knew Mike.
Knew Mike well.
He and I went to grad school together, and he was like, hey, I'm leaving. I hear you're applying for jobs. Please apply at Northeast State. He's like, I'd love to pass that torch. Started the process and, got hired. And so we've been here, oh my gosh, this is the beginning of my 11th year, which is really hard for me to wrap my brain around. Can you believe that?
I cannot. No, we've talked many times at 11 years. That is impressive.
Right?
But a fantastic 11 years it's been.
Indeed. Yes. I know. I love it here. Are you kidding? So it's great.
Okay. Now, obviously we're moving into a new semester here, and COVID-19, all the challenges we're facing with that. This semester, the Department of Theater, you've collaborated with the Department of Mass Communications to do an audio drama of Dracula. How did this kind of idea come about, and how has it been developing?
Well, it's new. I'll just say that. That's for sure. Everything changed in the spring. The state of theater, I think, there's a big question mark for all over the country, all over the world. If I think about it too much, I get sad. I try to be hopeful and remain hopeful. But so once we did change, everything changed in the spring. Brad was always planned on directing Dracula, this same script of Dracula, because 10 years ago, we did this script. Catherine Bush is a playwright in residence at Bearier Theater, and she wrote this play for us, this original adaptation 10 years ago. And it was the first show Brad and I collaborated on. So that was like the birth of this version of this department. So once everything changed, we thought, how do we do this safely? And honestly, how do you do Dracula social distancing? He has to bite people. So we thought that would just be a comedy version. We weren't sure we wanted to do that one. But we thought about all these other different plays. And finally, I'd seen some other professional theaters think about doing audio dramas. I was like, we could do that. And that's how it started. And we thought that I would direct it so I could do some voice acting more in my wheelhouse. And then Brad is going to be the sound designer, and design, of course, is more in his wheelhouse.
Sure. Yeah. Now, how's when you have students in these classes and preparing for this production, like you mentioned, the staples of sound design and voice acting, and I don't know if costuming may or may not even play a role in this. How are those kind of elements, those kind of traditional elements of theater being taught?
Well, luckily for Brad, he's actually teaching in person. And this semester, his Fundamentals of Design class focuses on the process more than anything, and doesn't even deal with sound or lights. That's a different class for theatrical sound and lights. So, and it's a small class, so they're meeting in person, wearing their masks, and they can be in the theater, which of course is large. So it really hasn't affected that. So we're thankful that was the class that landed this semester.
Right. And Brad, of course, is Brad McKenzie, our technical director, and mutual friend and all-around
We are a
top
department
guy.
of 2, and Brad walked into the doors 10 years ago. He's an alumni of Northeast State. He was a theater major here back in the day, and we're really lucky to work together. We're a good team together.
Oh, yeah, it's truly.
Yeah.
Now, I know Northeast State Theater has really developed a very formidable reputation as far as an award-winning theater for both stage performance and technical performance. Talk a little bit about what your students have done in the past, because I know a lot of pride in that theater, because so many students have come through in this past 11 years who really kind of left their mark with a lot of the professionals in the region.
Yes. So we, every spring, has it 9 years, maybe 8 years? We've participated in what's called the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. And the Kennedy Center has this huge college theater festival all across the country, and we're in Region 4, the Southeast. And it's such a cool festival. It's somewhere, different location every year, and you have to get nominated. So a Kennedy Center, like a professor somewhere in the Southeast, comes to our shows. They nominate actors and designers. And we've gone, and we've been super fortunate enough our students have received so many awards and great feedback, to the point where I think I can say this. Is this tooting our own horn? When we first started, there weren't a lot of 2-year schools participating in the festival.
Right.
And now the 2-year schools have gotten so much more recognition and credit. And I feel like we were a part of that trend, and I'm really proud of that.
Oh, as definitely as you should be.
Yeah.
As you absolutely should be. Now, I know when obviously when everything kind of ground to a halt back in March with COVID-19, The Giver, which was a production scheduled, unfortunately we had to cancel that, and all that kind of came crashing down. What's been the biggest challenges and maybe some of the frustrations for you as a faculty member dealing with all this?
I grieved. Not for me. Do you know what I mean? I've done a bunch of shows, and Brad was the director for this one, so I was the producer. Paperwork, is what I mostly did. I grieve for these kids, that all the hard work they'd done, and then they don't get to see it done, to completion. It was heartbreaking. So many of us dealt with that loss, seeing our kids that we knew in college or high school or miss those kind of important moments, landmark moments in life. So that was heartbreaking and just grieving. I guess the only comfort I got was every theater department all over the country was dealing with the same thing. It was just you could see all the cards that just fall. Dominoes, is that the better metaphor? All the dominoes fall.
Yes.
Every school just started announcing, closed schools and then canceling the shows. So it was heartbreaking, And here all those students graduated last year. A lot of the kids who were involved in The Giver, and now they're at, most of them went to ETSU, and that's going to be all online. So I'd like to think the best thing is theater, we teach great soft skills, and one of them is flexibility. So I know these kids can pivot and put their creative problem-solving skills into play. I'm rooting for them that way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I really, truly, and empathy is my superpower. So I really I just spent the spring just kind of crying for our students and how disappointed they were,
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It was heartbreaking, I think, for the whole college,
Yeah,
because we always look
everyone.
forward to those
Thank you for
those
saying.
productions. But now for Dracula, I understand that we did auditions via Zoom.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And how I think you had a pretty good turnout of auditioners
We
too.
had a great turnout, which just goes to show you so many people want to do voice acting. Do you know what I mean? That's such a popular, cool thing. I feel like if Will's listening, one day we should try to get some voice acting classes. We can collaborate together. But everyone wants to do it, man. We had, for us, it was a lot. We had about 50 people, and that's a lot for us. It's not like we're a huge department. Tons of non-theater majors, tons of students who weren't theater majors, tons of community members, lots of alumni from Northeast State, both theater and not.
Nice.
Some familiar faces, had some faculty audition. And over Zoom, it was definitely a learning experience for sure. But it ended up being really fun. And hey, we cast the show, so that's good.
Was that like your first foray into Zoom, or have you done videos as an actor? Have you done videos or things that you sent to audition for other shows?
I have not. But I mean, now, of course, after the spring, we're all like Zoom experts. I mean, if anyone had told me that I would even know what Zoom was or could use it so well and like teach other people. But yeah, we use it all the time now, don't we? So we're pros. And I've seen that's how most people are doing auditions. A lot of people are doing them over Zoom. So, and luckily, you know, I didn't even have to have a good quality picture. Some people didn't even have their camera, which was fine because I just wanted to hear them more than anything. So it worked out.
Oh, cool. Just needed the audio. We just needed the
Right,
voice.
right. And I'll tell you though, last night we did have our first rehearsal. We read through the script last night, and so that's over Zoom too. We're doing all of our rehearsals over Zoom. That's one reason why we chose the audio drama. We felt like it would be COVID proof. Like if things got worse, you know, we wouldn't have to pivot as much. So last night we finished rehearsal, and the stage manager and Brad McKenzie and I were like, that was really weird. Having a rehearsal over Zoom, but it worked too.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Now, what should audiences expect from this production when they tune into, what kind of, without giving away, of course, too much, what should an audience kind of look forward to when they tune in to Dracula?
You know, there's so many different versions of Dracula out there. So many, like it's, you know, over the years, there's just been so many. This script is really loyal to the book with a few changes. So it's kind of a nice classic throwback. But I hope it'll be a really immersive experience. I've been saying that like the sound, I think design is like another character for this, you know, it's such an important part. And I keep saying I want the sound to like everyone to be wrapped in a soundscape blanket, you know, for just the sound to be all over and to be really immersive. So that's what I hope we get. And just the little bit that Brad's been playing around with our sound designer, it's going to be really cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Would an audience be well served if they're going to tune in to do it at night with some candles on?
I mean, right.
Maybe have a black cat hanging around.
Yes, why not? You know, I know like my family doesn't live in town. They live in Cincinnati and Nashville, and they don't get to come see shows. And they've already are like, ooh, I can't wait to hear it. You know, I can't send it to us when you get it finished. But I do like that idea of people coming together and listening to this. It's basically like a radio program, really. And yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Turn off the lights, some candles, right?
Right. Now, yeah, it does harken back to like Orson Welles' War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of beautiful 1930s era radio tradition.
Yeah, and I grew up on that. My family, we camped a lot. And so, but my parents would bring old tapes of like Mercury Theater and all the things like that. So we would listen to it in our little pop-up camper, you know, in the woods. It was
fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. So that's kind of, I hope that people feel that, feel how, I want it to sound intimate too. So we're hopeful. We think it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Now, like you said, we all know, you know, the novel, the story, Dracula, vampire, victims, all that. The undercurrent of that story, though, and how much do you think it relates to the modern times of today, where there's an unknown terror stalking us? We don't know what it is. We can't explain it. Some of the more conventional resources that we look to explain things can't explain it. But there's a dread, a terror, a fear, something is stalking out there. How do those undercurrents of the Dracula story play to our modern day lives in the time of COVID?
I mean, is that not the best question? That is, it's kind of blowing my brain a little bit. What a great question. And I'm so much so that just recently we were talking about this idea. I think what's always relatable, and there's so many plays about this, it's like that lack of control, that lack and fear of the unknown. Humans don't like that.
Right.
You know, we don't like that. And even, do you remember we did The Foreigner a few years ago, which is hilarious, a comedy.
Scream.
However, an undercurrent of that funny play is also the fear of the unknown. Here's this other, and we're scared of this other.
Yes.
It's funny, though, of course, the way it's done in that play. But it's true, that fear of the unknown that you can't control, that is what we're all dealing with in the world right now. You know, it's like, can we just get back to normal? We're tired of this unknown. We don't know when it's going to end, right? It's just, right. I think everyone's just we've hit our limit. We're not built like this. But that really is it's exactly one of the things about Dracula, right? It's everyone's scared of this unknown creature. They don't know anything about it. It changes all the time. It's hard to define. And lurking in the background, it's like, when are you going to go away, Dracula? So I hadn't really thought about that much, but we were just kind of talked about the other day how that is a theme to this play.
Now, the story's pretty much open for kind of all ages. This could be all ages. Is more of a little bit more of an adult type show, or
just last night when we were reading it and I was listening to it, because I've read it a bunch of times, I was like, we could probably ask the playwright if we could change one word, and maybe this could be safe for everyone. However, Dracula does eat people, and he does eat like babies and children, and so that may be a little too much. So that is mentioned in the script. It's not like you're going to see that, right?
Right.
But there is a little kid voice at one point. And just like the book, that you know what I mean? So I guess if parents know what they're getting into, if they know anything about the book, right?
Right. Now, the show dates we have are October 28th to November 1st. Where and how can the audience go to access the show, and how is it going to be put out there as far as a time or a date or when you can get to it?
So we're still trying to work on the technical difficulties. So talk about being out of my control. The one thing for me, I do like to be in charge and in control. So because this is such a new experience, we really do have to take it like day by day. So for me, that's hard. But we're working on everything. We hope this is going to be available for a limited time, right? And you said the date's 28th. Yes. We hope that, on the 28th at a certain time, people will be able to go to the Northeast State Theater website, and there'll be a button or instructions or a link or something that everyone can access and then hear it. So that's what we hope will happen. We're working on just the technical specs. So we'll definitely be broadcasting so much more information and details about that as it gets closer.
Okay. To circle back just a minute about rehearsal, how did everybody handle rehearsal through Zoom? How did the actors and everybody kind of come together? Was it a bit of an adjustment from an on-stage rehearsal, or is everybody kind of, like you said, seasoned enough in Zoom that everybody knew what to expect?
I think that is true. I think, we're all seasoned with video learning and communication now. But really, the first rehearsal is you just read it. And that's true whether we were doing it on stage or not. You just sit in a circle and read. So this time we just sat on Zoom and read. The only thing that was different was people got kicked off a few times. You know what I mean? Their Zoom, like they got kicked off the Zoom call, and they would harker, mid-harker line would get kicked off. And then they would just text the stage manager, hey, I'll be back on in a second, and they would hop back on. So that will probably happen a lot in rehearsal. So flexibility and patience will be our friend.
Sure, absolutely. Now, the show will be free to the public.
Oh, yes.
No ticket, don't have to buy any tickets, completely free.
Yeah, we don't. I feel like this is a really great opportunity to have a larger audience. People who maybe, we're all busy, right? When everything was normal, I guess. And a lot of people said they would want to come to our shows, but maybe couldn't because they have so many other choices out there. So we're hoping that it being free and the world is the way it is, that maybe more people will tune in and hear a product of our theater department. Our cast is a really nice mix of really new theater majors, kind of our seasoned theater majors, some theater students, so Northeast State students who've never done theater. We have some theater alumni, some you'd probably recognize their names. And then we have a community member, a veteran theater guy in the area. So it's a nice mix of a cast.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Now, also kind of to what we talked about a little bit earlier, the entertainment industry has really taken a beating in the last several months of this pandemic, people losing jobs, entire companies going out of business. Just the displacement has been terrible for everybody. How do you see, having been in the industry and being a pro in the industry for so long, how do you think it's going to come out on the other end once people can come back to theaters and they can kind of enjoy entertainment again? How do you hope it turns out, say, in 1 year from now? Or can you see that? Can we really see that far?
God, I hope so. Right. I mean, I wish I had this. I've been reading a lot about this and making my students kind of look at articles and read about this and think about this. I found something the other day, and I don't have the numbers in my head, like how much the entertainment industry, theater and a wider entertainment industry, how much they add to the economy. Because when people go to see shows, they also go to restaurants, bars. So, like, it's the money the entertainment industry brings to our economy is huge. I don't think people think about that enough, like it's a frivolous thing. Like, no, it's vital for our economy. So I hope, I think Broadway, no one's worried about Broadway. It's going to open up. Disney has money for days. They will open up their shows.
Oh, sure.
It's the regional theaters that I think I'm worried about. Will they be able to open their doors? But I hope, like I kind of mentioned earlier, theater people and artists in general, the entertainment industry in general, they know how to creative problem solve. We know how to do that. We know how to be flexible and resilient and fight. It's not like it's the easiest industry to be in. So you kind of have to be scrappy or you're not going to last. So I'm hoping that spirit will allow theater to thrive, maybe on a smaller scale. So I think that's going to promote creativity, just like this has for us. We had to kind of, how do we do this? So we're kind of jazzed by this new thing that we're doing. It's exciting. So I hope that's what happens. We have things open up, it just may be on a smaller scale for a while, and maybe that's a good thing.
Even when we do come back to on-stage performing, do you think the things, I'm sure this is true, what are things that you and students are learning now as far as multimedia, are you just going to be able to carry that over into new productions once you get back on stage?
I don't see why not. Do you know what I mean? It's like, for example, I've never taught an online class. I'm thrilled that this forced me into it. I've really, really enjoyed it. Like, I love it now. Scary at first, but I'm like, this is fun. There's different things you can do with it. Not to mention when it comes to acting, for years now, that's one of the ways people prefer auditions, submit it via video. So this is a great, last semester, my acting class is about auditioning. So it was a great opportunity for them to practice recording themselves. Like, what do you look like when you do that? Technically speaking only, and then sending that off. It's good practice. That's where we are now.
Are videos going to become almost part of the actors or any entertainment professional's resume now, or like that kind of multimedia thing going to be something you send along with your clip or your headshot or your work? So much so many actors now have that multimedia presence. And, right.
I'm thinking on a larger scale, do you know what I mean? Who have their own website, they have their own podcast, their own YouTube channel. I think now more people will do that. Not to mention, I've talked to several friends, who are professional actors, who they've had to pivot into voice acting work. So they've had to, maybe they did a little bit here and there, but now like that's all they're doing because it's the only job that's out there. The big actor union equity is not giving contracts out. So if you're in the union, so if you're an actor, theater actor, and you're in the union, you can't act right now. They won't allow it. I think they've only given out 2 contracts in the entire country. So there's still plenty of professional actors out there, but the ones who are in the union, it's frustrating. And I get, of course, they're doing it for safety reasons. Of course. So, it'll be interesting to see. I think one thing about this whole pandemic, not that it's good at all, and I wish it never happened, but there's going to be so much opportunity to learn. If you're a sociologist or an economist, just think about if you're a psychologist, there's going to be so much information to learn about how humans have dealt with this and how things are going to change. So you're not wrong. There's going to be, I think there's already a multimedia presence in the world of theater. I think there's just going to be more of it. Because now the Tonys, I don't know how long, but they have a category for projections now. That's been a thing for years. I only know that because a guy I had a huge crush on in high school. He does this, not that he would know who I was at all, but I saw his name somewhere and I was like, what? So he does that. He's like a professional projectionist guy, and he has this really unique name. So it's hilarious. But anyway, so like projection's a huge thing, even in theater before this all happened. So there's already changes. This is just going to push everyone over the edge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a brave new world.
It really
but
is.
a fun an exciting new world.
That's what I'm trying to take. You know what I mean? I have to remind myself when I do get overwhelmed by that lack of the scary, the unknown. What we teach our children in the theater world, our students, we're like, hey man, you have to run towards fear. That is that is what you have to do in this industry, quite frankly, in this world. And the more you run towards fear, the easier it will get. It's always going to be scary, but you can do it, right? So that's so much. That's really true right now, right? More than ever.
Run towards fear.
Run
Absolutely.
towards fear.
That is very, very good advice for all of us now. All right, Elizabeth, are you ready for our 3-question speed challenge?
Oh my gosh, y'all do that? I don't remember that. Okay, yes. When I listened to y'all's other one, I don't remember. Yes, I'm ready.
Sound Barrier guests. Okay, this is how we close it out here on the
Love
Sound
it.
Barrier with the 3-question speed challenge. Are you ready?
I feel so cool. Okay, yeah.
Question number 1. Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
iPhone. Okay. Question number 2. Wonder Woman or Captain Marvel?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
I mean, Linda Carter, are you kidding me? She was my hero. I was Wonder Woman as a kid more often than anything else.
Oh,
My
okay.
mom made me corduroy, like a crown and the bracelets out of corduroy. Hello, 70s.
Oh, sweet.
And it wore underoos too before they were banned because they caught on fire. So this girl of the 70s, yes, I've just aged myself. Loved me some Linda Carter and the Wonder Woman.
You were Wonder Woman. Oh,
yes.
Yes. Okay. Question number 3. Netflix or Hulu? Netflix.
I mean, I have both, and I love both. Like right now, I'm rewatching some X-Files, and that's on Hulu, right? So thank goodness I have that. But yeah, Netflix.
Okay. All right.
Oh my gosh, that was yay!
3, the 3-question challenge.
That was awesome.
Aced. We try to switch them up a little bit, although, Netflix and Hulu is kind of new. Traditionally, we'd gone with Falcon 9 or Mars Rover.
I wouldn't have even known what to say about that.
Okay, it's
I would've
Elon
been
Musk versus NASA. So,
I have him like,
he's like the 3rd richest guy in the world now.
Oh,
Elon
I know.
Musk. He's
I know.
going to catch Bezos before long.
But here's the thing. He's in the news more for like what he named his kid, right?
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
it's
I
like
thought
numbers
that was kind
and
of
things. Like, so I feel like he's in the news now because he's so famous for everything but like the technological
great science. Yeah,
brain he has. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll circle back for him anyway.
But hey, I like the Netflix Hulu question. That was better suited for me.
All right. Well, Elizabeth, we have come to the end of this episode. We are, again, of course, very happy you joined us, and thank you for everything you do here on the college here and everything you do with the theater department.
Hey, this has been a true honor. I love that y'all are doing this now. I think it's fantastic. So thank you for letting me come.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You don't be a stranger either. We're probably going to invite you back sometime next semester.
Don't tease.
So, but again, Department of Theater is doing Dracula October 28th through November 1st, audio drama. You can check out more details at www.northeaststate.edu/theater. That's northeaststate.edu/theater. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Sound Barrier. We want to thank, of course, the fine folks at Entertainment Technology, Will McMorrin, and all his merry band of pranksters over there. I also want to thank everybody in the Department of Community Relations and Marketing for their help in making The Sound Barrier happen. You can go to thesoundbarrier.net, thesoundbarrier.net. You can subscribe to this podcast if you like it through, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, maybe Pandora if they ever give us a thumbs up and approve it, which we're hoping might happen pretty soon. But again, northeaststate.edu, northeaststate.edu, northeaststate.edu. Check us out online. That's the website to click. We just might be what you're looking for. And until then, sign up for spring, sign up for that second term of fall classes if you get the chance. And until next time, this is The Sound Barrier, signing off.